Welcome to today's video, in which we delve into a topic that touches all of us even though we may not realize it. Why do we sometimes suffer without knowing why? Why do illnesses, unhappiness, or toxic relationships recur in some families? The answer may be hidden in the invisible heritage we carry, the karma of our ancestors. Today we'll look together at how karma is passed down through generations, what it actually means, and what we can do about it. I will take you on a deep spiritual journey where we will discover that the pain we carry is not a punishment but a call for healing, and that we can be the link that closes the chain of suffering and transforms it into a blessing. When I am asked how karma is transmitted between generations, I answer, much more subtly and powerfully than most people can imagine. For karma is not just a simple punishment or retribution for past actions, but above all the result of a broken interconnection with love, with God. And this disruption, this inner disintegration, has the capacity to pass not only through our lives, but through our lineage, through time, through blood, through words, through pain, and through silence. When a person refuses to change his attitudes, when he allows hatred, pride, jealousy, resentment, or bitterness to take root, these emotions become more than just his problem. They become part of the energy field of his lineage. They stay in his subtle bodies, in his soul, and they are passed on to his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And just as we inherit the physical body from our parents, we also inherit emotional and spiritual patterns that carry their, and often earlier, pain and distortions. You may have noticed that in some families the same types of fates repeat themselves. For example, women stay single, men end up with alcohol, children die young, or illnesses such as cancer, diabetes, and psychological disorders recur in the family. People often call it genetics, bad luck, or hereditary diseases. But I say, in many cases, it's hereditary karma. And if it is not recognized and cleansed, like a root under the ground, it will sprout the same kind of thorns again, even though it seems we have long since removed it. Imagine a person as a tree. It has roots, its ancestors. It has a trunk, its present life. And it has a crown, its descendants. If the roots have been attacked, the tree may appear healthy outwardly, but inwardly it has corrupt sap flowing through it. And it is through this sap that all information flows to the leaves and fruit, including the pain that was once unresolved. And how is it transmitted? Primarily through relationships, attitudes, ways of experiencing. Many people don't want to admit that they are suffering because of the mistakes of their ancestors. It seems unfair to them. But the justice of God is not mechanical, not human, it is healing. When something difficult happens in our lives that we cannot explain by our own actions, it is often an invitation. God, through us, asks us to heal the wounds that our ancestors did not heal. To show love where they showed hate. To forgive where they cried out or remained silent in pain. We are the chosen ones. We are the ones who have been given the opportunity to stop the curse of lineage and turn it into a blessing. One of the most common ways karma is transmitted is through resistance. If someone in our lineage deeply hated, for example, someone who wronged them, and never forgave, that unforgiven pain becomes a burden. It can then manifest as an autoimmune disease in his grandson, or as an unhappy relationship in his granddaughter. It looks like a coincidence, but it's actually a lawful shift of energy. Some of the women in my practice have said to me, "I love my son, but I can't look him in the eye, something about him irritates me." When we went deeper, it turned out that their mother deeply hated the father, and this hatred, unspoken, repressed, was imprinted in the daughter's energetics, and she unconsciously passed it on to her son. And so the son carries not only his destiny but also the karmic burden of the 3 previous generations. And it is here that the power of inner work is shown. When one begins to ask the questions, where does my pain come from? Who have I not forgiven? Who did I want to own? Why am I afraid of losing? That's when the healing process begins. And the healing of one single person has the power to transform an entire family. Because a healed person stops sending the same pain. It is no coincidence that the Bible says, the sins of the fathers visit the sons to the 3rd and 4th generation. But not because God punishes innocent children. On the contrary, children often come as those who have the power to put an end to it. The child who is born into a family with a karmic burden comes with a higher soul, with the ability to love where others feared. And if the parents guide him, if they themselves begin to change their attitudes not through external rituals but through inner humility, the whole chain of suffering can begin to unravel. I remember the case of a woman who brought her daughter with severe epilepsy. The doctors didn't know what to do. When we began to work spiritually, it turned out that there had once been a silent curse in the woman's family. Her great-grandmother had cursed her husband for betrayal and wished him dead. The curse didn't manifest itself on him, but it resonated through the clan like a high-frequency pain. It wasn't until 4 generations later that the disease emerged as a call for healing. The woman began to forgive, to pray for her ancestors, to give up her inner resistance to men. And her daughter's epileptic seizures began to subside. I want to be clear. Spiritual work is not about blaming the ancestors. On the contrary, it's about gratitude. Most of them acted in ignorance, out of pain and fear. But we have an advantage. We can see, we can understand, we can change. Every forgiveness, every act of humility and gratitude is like a light that shines into the past and the future. And that light can illuminate not only our destiny, but also the destiny of our children, grandchildren, and those yet unborn. This is how karma is transmitted. Not as the vengeance of fate, but as the plea of souls. Heal us, for we can no longer go on alone. And we have a choice: either we pass on the pain or we transform it into love. And that is the meaning of human life. To learn to love even where pain is passed from generation to generation. Because only love has the power to break the chain of suffering and create a new, blessed beginning. Whether you believe in karma or understand it only symbolically, one thing is certain. Our attitudes, emotions and actions have an impact not only on us, but also on those who come after us. And we have the ability to break the chain of pain, to forgive, to turn anger into gratitude and guilt into love. Each one of us can be the one who, through our inner growth, heals not only ourselves, but the whole family. If today's topic resonates with you, I'd love your comment, share and subscribe, and if you'd like, email me if you'd like another video on similar spiritual questions. And remember, as long as we love, it's never too late to start over. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the story, please like and subscribe.